Here we are in the third and final phrase of our single Rapier assessment choreography. This phrase is mainly going to involve point work, so we're going to be doing a lot of disengages. Now, I'm going to call them disengages, but if you were doing this with a partner and some of those disengages were deceptions instead, that's just fine. The only difference, of course, is that a disengage happens after a successful parry, and a deception happens while your partner's parrying in order to evade the parry entirely. So it's just a tiny difference in timing, and if you were to do this with a partner, we could make some decisions about which are disengages and which are deceptions according to what we wanted the fight to sound like. But for now, I'm going to be calling them all disengages. Okay, let's jump in and take a look. At the end of phrase 2, our hero was downstage right, looking upstage left, our partner having just evaded and run to try and get behind us. Once again, we're going to start left foot forward, and we are going to initiate. This time, it's going to be a thrust attack to a high line target. We're going to thrust to their left bicep, so just at the base of the shoulder in the middle of the upper arm. So we're left foot forward, we weight shift back, spot the target, and prep an attack with our blade pointing towards the middle of their left bicep. We extend our blade without moving our body, and our partner passes back. We pass forward with them, and as our blade is parried, we disengage to point at the other arm. We do another passing step, and our partner parries again. We disengage a second time, this time to the middle of their chest. We pass forward one last time, and this time our partner successfully parries us, moving our blade off to their left side to our right side. And it happens so fast we are unable to disengage or deceive. So let's take a look at that sequence one more time. We're left foot forward. Now I'd like you to notice that my feet don't adjust until the final step here. So I weight shift back, prepping a thrust attack to their left arm. I extend, my partner passes back. I pass forward, keeping my feet the same, and I disengage to their right arm. Pass one more time, disengage to their center chest. Pass forward a third time, this time adjusting my feet as I am parried off to their left side. Now, my partner is going to do a bind through, but it's going to be a special kind of bind through called a bind to line. They're going to do that binding motion, they're going to expel the blade, but instead of ending up off to the side, they are immediately going to extend to a thrust attack right at the middle of our belly. Right in our belly button is where they're going to be pointing it. So, we have been parried, and they're going to bind to line. We pass back as they move our blade off to our left side. And now they are pointing a thrust attack towards our belly button. In order to deal with this, we're going to need to do a full counter parry 7 with another pass back. So we pass back again, and full counter parry 7. However, they are faster than us, and they do another disengage, this time right over our wrist, and are now pointing towards our front right hip. We pass back again, and do a direct parry 2, and they disengage again. So we each get to do a couple disengages here. Now here's the moment that we've all been waiting for. We're going to take our active hand here, and we are going to pass back into a reverse lunge as we beat their blade aside and sink down into that reverse lunge. So now we have used our active hand to beat their blade aside, and now we can go for the kill by simply extending our blade and placing the flat of our blade against their lower stomach, right here. Now we don't want it to hit their hip. We want it to be above the hip and below the rib, right on the large muscle mass in the stomach. And we do not want to make contact with the edge of the blade. We want to make contact with the flat of the blade. So the queons should be pointing directly up and down if you're using a single sword, then your guard should be pointing straight down at the floor, and your thumb should be on top. Now, as you put your blade into this position, I also want you to break the line of the sword and your arm. So you can see here how there is a straight line now between my shoulder, my wrist, the tip of my blade. For this one, I want you to break that line so that there's a straight line from your shoulder to your wrist and then changes direction, goes to the tip of the blade. So all we're doing is simply placing the flat of the blade just like this. Now we're not doing this in a saw motion. We're not doing that. We're not doing this in a slapping motion. No. We are simply extending our wrist with the blade in a broken line. So it gently is placed right there on their fleshy part of their body. Now, if this was being done with a partner, before you perform this, what you would do is you would work with your partner and you would put the blade in their hand and ask them, please show me where on your body you would like me to make contact. And then they would place it onto their body to show you the large muscle mass that is your target. And then you would slowly and gently practice placing it there, and then you would gradually work that movement into the choreography. So that's usually the procedure when we're going to make contact, physical contact with another person. We offer our partner the part of our body or weapon that's going to be making contact and have them show us where they want us to make contact, and then we practice it slowly and carefully before we work it into the choreography. Okay, so let's take a look at this last move, and then we'll go back farther, and then we'll go back and do the whole thing. So we're right here, and we have just parried two, but they have disengaged and are now threatening our front hip. So our sword is on our right side, and our hand is on our left side with left foot forward. We're going to pass back into a reverse lunge as we bat their blade aside, reverse lunge, and then just simply extend the blade right there onto their stomach, and that is the killing blow. Now our partner, what our partner would do, partner is just lunged here, they would take their active hand, and once the blade has made contact with their stomach, they would grab the blade there, holding it to their side, acting as if it is cut into them, and then they're also going to grip it down to provide some resistance, so that when we pull the blade out and move the tip of the blade away from them, it looks as if the sword has gotten stuck into them. And that's what happens in real life when a foreign body enters our body. So if I was to accidentally get poked with something like the sword or a pencil or a knife or something, it would go in very easily, and then the muscles around the foreign object would contract and squeeze it and hold it tight, because it's not good for you to have that thing removed at that point. You want to keep it in there until you can get to a hospital and a surgeon. If it is pulled out, then it's going to do more damage and you risk bleeding more and losing more blood. So the muscle is going to contract. So what this means is, as actors, we need to make it look like when we poke a sword into something, it goes in very easily, and then it takes more force and resistance to pull it out. Now, the other big thing is we want to be aware of the tip of the blade. We do not want it to go out and then right in front of somebody's face. We also, if we are the one being wounded or killed, we do not want, in our reaction, to drop our face right down into the sword that is being pulled out. So if I have a sword right here in my stomach, and as it pulls out, boom, I do not want my head to go down and then have their tip of the blade right in front of my face. I want to keep my head up, and then my partner is going to move that blade, boom, out of the way, down, and point it away from me as quickly as I can so it does not go in front of the face. Okay, now let's go back a little bit, and then we'll show you that whole phrase again a few times. Okay, so I believe we have just been parried here. We're right foot forward. Our partner is going to do a bind to line. We pass back. They expel our blade. We pass back again and do a full counter parry 7. They disengage. We pass back. Do a direct parry 2. They disengage one last time. We pass back into a reverse lunge, beating their sword aside, and then place the blade for the kill. And that is the end of the fight and end of phrase 3. Now let's take a look at that entire phrase a couple more times. Just like always, we start left foot forward. This time I'm going to prep and tap towards their left bicep. I extend my blade, they pass back, I pass with them and disengage to the other arm. Pass forward, disengage one last time, pass forward one more time, and we are successfully parried. There's the bind to line, in which we pass back, and now we do in one continuous motion, do a full counter parry 7, disengage, and pass back, direct parry 2, pass back into a reverse lunge, beating it aside, and place the blade. Kill. And pull the blade out and away. Now I also want you to notice on these sequences we are not weight shifting back. We don't weight shift back on a disengage. We just keep moving in that same direction because there's no need to prep the disengage. It just happens there. Okay, so let's look at it one more time, a little bit smoother. Down, stage right. Left foot forward. Eye contact. Prep, spotting the target. And extend. Passing step, disengage. Passing step, disengage. Parry. Bind to line. Pass back. Parry. Parry. Beat aside. Place. That is phrase 3. I'll do it one more time. Once again. Down stage right. Here we go. Left foot forward. And eye contact. Prep, spot the target, extend. Pass, disengage. Pass, disengage, and parry. Bind to line. Pass back. Parry, parry, beat aside, reverse lunge, place. Pull out, down and away. That is the end of phrase 3 and the end of the fight. Please take your time practicing this. Really make it look so sweet. And then I look forward to working with you on our next weapon, French small sword.